Welcome back, everyone, to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. I wanted to close off today's show with George and Jill and their conversation about what to do as you get older, because I think that there's a bunch of really interesting lessons. So George Bradley, 90 years old, is writing books. And books that are of children's stories that he told his children a couple generations ago, 2 generations ago, and that he repeated to his grandchildren, and now the next generation is repeating these stories and they're reflecting them in a book. And how fantastic to be in your 80s and writing down stories into books and publishing them. And Jill, who and she actually didn't talk about this a little bit, but has gone through a marriage, a divorce, and she now describes her as sort of a mature actress, model, etc. Is traveling the world, and I think they give excellent descriptions of what to do. I don't think that Jill's my age, but I think it's a really interesting example of people that are living their life to their fullest. And Jill made a comment about experiences versus products or assets or things, and I think that's very true. I interviewed someone for a job, not me for a job, but them looking for a job just this week, and I won't say who and for what the job was, but it was fascinating. This person couldn't take the job for a couple of months because they were off to Costa Rica to go surfing for a month, and then off to Indonesia to go surfing for another month. And this person wasn't 20 years old or 30 years old. And I was thinking about how spectacular an attitude it would be to go surfing in Costa Rica and Indonesia for 2 months. I had my first annual checkup with my physician since before COVID this past week. And she made a similar comment to me. She talked about getting on with living instead of just sort of existing. We talked about health. We talked about weight. We talked about nutrition. We talked about the same sort of things that I chatted about with Jill tonight. And she said a lot of the same things. But bottom line, it was life is short. I had a car accident. I was in a car accident a couple of weeks ago, and someone drove out in front of me, and no fault of mine. I ended up T-boning this individual, and thank God I had a seatbelt on and airbags on. Didn't go into a ditch. I was driving an SUV. Thank God there was no one in the other car's passenger seat, because that would have been a real problem if there had been. And cars did what they should have done, which is crumpled. They were both written off. And I walked away with a broken hand. That was it. And I spoke with an emergency room doctor and then a fracture clinic doctor, who both told me that I was lucky to be alive, that if I had swerved into the ditch and rolled, if I didn't have a seatbelt on, and maybe gone through the window, if the airbags didn't deploy, and I had crashed my chest into the dashboard, et cetera, things could have been a lot worse. Life is short. And, I'm frankly reminded as well about some people who I've lost recently, including my mother, who lived a wonderful life until she was 91 years old, or almost 91 years old. Hazel McCallion, the former mayor of Mississauga, who was a friend of mine and someone I worked with, who lived till she was almost 102. Both of them had incredibly full lives late into their life. Until the end of their life. My mom doing art appreciation interviews with me, and active competitive bridge and a whole bunch of other things. Hazel McCallion, nonstop working until her last little while. And so I've really been thinking about this, and I really wanted to showcase George Bradley writing books, publishing the books, and Jill Bradley, not as old obviously as her father, but the way she described not being embarrassed as a social influencer, being on social media with a few wrinkles and without any filters, and proud of her still personal training and nutrition work and actress work and modeling work, even as she gets a little older. And some people have talked about 50 being the new 30 or 40 or 60 being the new 40. I don't feel my age. I feel younger than I am, probably than I look. And I think that we do have a new and better attitude today of aging. I think pharmaceuticals and diet and health and fitness and medical science have all added that, so we can have a very productive life for a lot longer than we may have a generation ago. But I really like this attitude about experiences rather than assets. And, there was this license plate or bumper sticker that I hated about he that dies with the most toys wins. You don't take those toys with you, and you don't leave them behind, really. But the memories are how you live on in other people's hearts. And I think those memories are what are going to be with you in your last little while. And so those memories, those trips, those experiences, whether it be surfing in Costa Rica or going to Curacao or Florida or Whistler or skiing or whatever it is, those experiences are what make up who you are. Not the toys that you have or the products that you have or the size of the house that you live in. It's those experiences, that life that you lead, the enjoyment that you have. And as I experienced this past couple of weeks and then my doctor's visit, life is short. Life is short. So live a life. Get out there. Don't be afraid of wrinkles. Don't need filters. Don't be afraid of the extra few pounds that you've got and putting on a bathing suit and being happy to go on the beach or wherever it is that you are. And travel, whether it's by yourself or with someone special or with your family, and write a book and go on radio or TV and live some experiences and enjoy life, and don't just slave away making $1 to buy some more toys for little or no benefit. George Bradley shows us that so well in writing his books in his later years about children's stories that obviously have made his daughter and his grandchildren very, very happy. And Jill shows that in her personal training, in her nutrition counseling, in her social media, in her acting, in her modeling, even as she ages. Hazel McCallion certainly showed us that, being a mayor of a major city until her 90s, and then being chancellor of a university and a senior executive for a retirement company until her hundreds, if that's possible. And so I really wanted to end tonight talking a little bit about passion for life, passion for living, and passion for experiences rather than products, assets, or toys. And maybe I'm just learning this. Life is short. Live your life. Enjoy. Have a great weekend. Good night, everybody.